morning, students. How are you? I hope you all are fine and staying home to keep yourself safe from COVID-19. Students, in the previous module, we discussed about the development of resources and resource planning. Here in this module, we are going to discuss about the land use pattern. So let us begin, students. Land resources. First of all, we should try to understand what are what is land resource and how that land is used in our country. As you know that we live on land, we perform our economic activities on land and we use it in different ways. Thus land is natural resource of utmost importance. Means unless land is available, we cannot perform our different activities, or you can say most of our economic activities, our daily activities are done on land only. It supports natural vegetation, wildlife, human life, economic activities, transport, communication system. So all these which we need in our daily life, which we see in our surrounding, that most of all exist on land. However, land is an asset of finite magnitude. Therefore, it is important to use the available land for various purposes with careful planning. Meaning to say this sentence that land is fixed. The size of land, area of land is not going to change with passage of time, with change of time. It is fixed forever. Therefore, it is important to use the available land for various purposes with care and careful planning. India has land under a variety of relief features, plain, plateaus, and mountain. If you see this pie chart, here in this pie chart, it is clear that around 43% of land is available, means in the form of plain. 27% in the form of plateau and rest 30% is in the form of mountain. And you know that plains are most suitable for the economic activity as well as for agricultural activities. So about 43% of land area is plain, which provide facilities of agriculture and industry. Mountains account for 30% of the total surface area of the country and ensure perennial flow of some rivers. You know that most of the rivers originate from the mountain, as there is a slope and altitude, and because of that region the rivers fall from the mountain and provide the facility for tourism and ecological aspects. About 27% of the area of the country is plateau region. It possesses rich reserves of minerals, fossil fuels, and forest. So plateaus are mainly known for this reserve of minerals, fossil fuels, and forest. So here, in short, you could see here the importance of plain, plateaus, and mountain. Mainly that plains are preferred for using the land for agricultural and economic activities. Mountains are providing us water facility in the form of river. Even the forest also, forest covered areas are also there over the mountains, and the plateau regions are the main source of minerals, fossil fuels, and forests. Now, land utilization. Land resources are used for the following five purposes. First one is forest. You know that land is used for the forest purpose. Actually, if you see the forest area, that forest, natural forest are only left over the mountain region or some tough terrain of plateau region. Otherwise, the plain areas are usually used for growing crops and building construction, industrial activities. Very few places are left over the plain area as forest, but that is also planted trees, not natural forest. Then second use of land is land not available for cultivation, means that land is not available for cultivation, not available for use, that are barren or wasteland, that is not useful for any economic activity. Then second one, land put to non-agricultural uses like constructing building, roads, factories, etc. So for such purposes also land is used. Other cultivated land, other uncultivated land are also there, that are in the form of permanent pasture or grazing land, that is very less in our country, that we'll see in the next slide. Mm, Land under miscellaneous tree crops groves not included in net sown area. Net sown area, students, here concept is explained here, I will tell you again here. Land under miscellaneous tree crops groves, that is usually that fruit orchards. Culturable wasteland means that land is not used from very long period of time, that you can say more than 5 agricultural years. Then fallow land. Fallow land categorized in two categories, that current fallow and other than current fallow. The land left without cultivation for 1 or less than 1 year, that is current fallow. Current fallow, students, you may have seen in your village or rural areas, that land is left uncultivated to regain the fertility of soil naturally. So that type of land is coming in this category, current fallow. Other than current fallow, left uncultivated for past 1 to 5 years. So that comes in this category, other than current fallow. Then net sown area. Net sown area concept is an area sown more than once in agricultural year plus. Net sown area is known as the grass cropped area. Students, here two words are given here, grass cropped area and net sown area. I want to make you clear here, students. So if you see such type of land is available, and that land is having two types. One part of land, this is having facility of irrigation, and this next, suppose I term it as A land part, and second one is B land part. So this B1 land part is not having irrigation facility. Then this first one, land part A, can be used more than once for agriculture purpose for growing crops, and this land as not having the irrigation facility only can be used during the rainy season. So students, while calculating this grass cropped area, the total net sown area, suppose this A is having 5 hectare and B is also having 5 hectare of land. So while calculating, if we see that net sown area, so net sown area is exactly 10. 5 plus 5, that is 10. But if we calculate grass cropped area, so that grass cropped area, here A part of land used more than once, suppose it is used two times, then in this net sown area we will add this part of land one more time. because once it is already included in this, because it was used two times, so it will be included here one more time, and then grass cropped area will become 15 hectare. Similarly, if it is used three times, so in place of this 5 we will add 10 more, and then it will become 20 hectare. So this way students, this difference is there, net sown area and grass cropped area. Now, land use pattern in India in the form of this pie chart we can understand here. Students, the use of land is determined both by physical factors such as topography, climate, soil type, as well as human factors such as population density, technological capability, and culture and traditions. So all these factors affect the use of land. And you can see here use of land in different form is given here, and this comparative study has been given between the about 50 years to 55 years. Suppose it is starting from 1960, not 50 year, it is 60 from, so about 40 to 45 years. So students, between these two time period, what is change observed in the use of land use pattern, that will be explained here, that is given in your book also. So if you see the students forest area, it is about 18.11%, and in 1960-61, and it is increased from this 18 to 23.3%, that is little bit increased because of the government efforts of NGOs and people who who took initiative for planting trees and protecting the forest. Similarly, more points are given here about each one. Here we'll see in this slide. Total geographical area of India is 3.28 million square kilometers. Students, it is not going to change anyway. Land use data, however, is available only for 93% of the total geographical area, because the land use reporting for most of the northeastern states except Assam has not been done fully. So we have just information about 93% of the total geographical area of our country. Rest of 7% information is not available because some part of that northeastern states not available for analysis. And moreover, some areas of Jammu and Kashmir occupied by Pakistan and China have also not been surveyed. So these three types of places are not surveyed properly, and that way we don't have information about that. So in land use pattern, we will discuss about just 93% in area of land about which data is available. The land under permanent pasture has also decreased. If you see this, mm, if you see this permanent pasture, this purple color, 4.71%, and from this 4.71% to 3.3%. So this is showing that in last 45 years there is decrease in the permanent pasture land, and you know that pasture land is used for rearing the cattle and feeding the cattle. How are we able to feed our huge cattle population on this pasture land, and what are the consequences of it? Of course, we are facing this problem for feeding our cattle, and substitute of this we could find out by using the remains of that crops using at fodder for the cattle. Otherwise, we don't have that much pasture land which could be used for rearing cattle. Most of the other than current fallow land are either of poor quality or the cost of cultivation of such land is very high. Hence, these lands are cultivated once or twice in about 2 to 3 years. If these are included in the net sown area, then the percentage of net sown area in India comes out about 54% of the total reporting area. So that way you can understand, students. If you see this net sown area is given here 46.26%, then little decrease is shown, little in decrease is shown here, 45.5%. And if this add in this category, this current fellow, this one part 4.9%, or this here 3.73%. So current fellow, if added, so it is reaching about the 50% or more than 50% this area of land used for cultivation. The pattern of net sown area varies greatly from one state to another. It is over 80% of the total area in Punjab and Haryana, and less than 10% of Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Manipur, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So this variation is, students, on the basis of the plain area available in these states and the fertile land available. The forest area in the country is far lower than the desired 33%. You know, students, if we want ecological balance, then there should be about 33% area of land as forested land. So it was outlined in the National Forest Policy in 1952. So that is still very low, as here you can see in this pie chart given in your book. This forest is about 18.11%, and we could increase up to 23.3% only. It is still 10% less than that requirement. It was considered essential for maintenance of ecological balance, you know. The livelihood of millions of people who live on fringes of these forests depend upon it. So fringes means a nearby area of that forest region. So the people who live nearby that forest, they are mostly dependent on the forest by collecting the firewood material from the forest, by collecting the leaves for different purposes. So that way they are highly dependent on forest. Apart from the land is termed as wasteland, the land put to other non-agricultural uses. So whatever this here given, a part of wasteland here categorized in the previous module only, we saw that land not available for cultivation. So that is categories barren and wasteland, and land put non-agricultural uses like building, forest, and roads. So that way, students, the wasteland includes rocky and arid and desert area, and land put to other non-agricultural uses includes settlements, road, railways, industry. Such kind of activities are done over such land where the area of land is not used for agriculture or cannot be used for agriculture. We try to bring it in use of such kind. Continuous use of land over a long period of time without taking appropriate measures to conserve and manage it has resulted in land degradation. As we are using that land for different purposes without any planning, slowly land quality has degraded very high, and that way the land is not fit for use for different purposes. Slowly means it is becoming unfit for use. So this in turn has serious repercussions on society and environment. So now it is throwing bad impact over the society and environment both. Now students, it is time to discuss homeworks. So you have to explain the land use pattern in India and why has the land under forest not increased much since 1960-61. If you see the reason of this forest, so you know that there are number of uses of that land, and we cannot acquire the land from our agricultural uses. We cannot acquire the land for from the industrial uses. Means number of uses are there, and that way we are not getting land from that different essential, you can say, need of that land. Secondly, if up to some extent it could be used, the government plans were not successful. People who were not aware and not taking care of this program of planting more and more trees, so that way the forest area could not be increased as much as it was required. As you know that there is 33% required. So it is given in your book how to, you can find out the answer from there. Then this question is, students, how have technical and economical development led to more consumption of resources? It is given already in the previous module. It was discussed, but question could not be put there. It is question number 3 from your exercise. Question number 3 in this is long answer type question. That two questions are given in your exercise, and from there you have to do it. So I hope you will complete this homework today only, and if you will face any problem you will ask me over my personal WhatsApp number. I will try to help you students. Till now, thank you students. Bye bye.